Wow. Well, you know, Chicago's been under siege from soaring murder rates and charges of police misconduct. Well, now the police department there releasing hundreds of videos showing police-related incidents, including officer-involved shootings, tasings, and cases where someone was hurt. The release is an attempt at transparency and earning the public's trust after several scandals involving Chicago police officers. Will it work, or is it unfair in a city stained by the continued out-of-control shootings that have taken a grisly toll? More of this. Here's our legal panel. Lee Wheel is a Fox News legal analyst. Bob Bianchi, criminal defense attorney, former head county prosecutor and a trial attorney in New Jersey. Lisa and Bob, welcome. Bob, let me first ask the main issue. If you've got these videos out for people to see, is it fair to the police officers involved, or does it actually expose misconduct?
As a prosecutor who investigated police cases like this, I would not want to release investigative data until the investigation was complete, so as that witnesses were not tainted and we could dot I's and cross T's. But we have to also balance the community's need to know that the police, internal affairs in particular, are properly policing the police. These cases have gone on for years with no response to anybody in the community with regard to what happened. So I think that this was a measured response in order to build some inherent credibility and trust that things have changed with the Chicago PD. We're not going to allow hundreds of cases just to go unresolved for years, because speed is quick in these investigations. Now their new policies, they wait 60 to 90 days so they can do the proper investigation without tainting witnesses and then release these videos, which I will say, Eric, I think will exonerate actually a lot of police officers. And I think
what Bob is doing is putting these videos in the context of Chicago here and today. The New York Times just of this past weekend had a full-page article about just the 60 shootings just this past weekend.
64 over Memorial Day weekend.
There we go. In Chicago alone over the weekend. I think some 6 fatalities. I mean, it's like a third world country here in the U.S. of A. I mean, so you put those videos in the context of that, and I think the mayor and others in the city of Chicago said we need to do something, and this transparency is a move towards that.
I mean, it's a horrible situation. The latest shooting this morning, a 6-year-old girl shot in the back, in critical condition. But look at some of these videos. We play one of them again. We had someone in the hallway. You see some police officers going up to the person. But what does it mean? Don't know exactly what the situation is. Look at that. Someone by the hallway there, as you can see, and the police officers come up and push him. But Bob, to your point, you don't know what. There's no audio. You don't know what transpired. You don't know what the charges are. You don't know what that crime is. You don't know who the suspect is. You don't know what they're doing at all.
Right. Listen, this is a continuing problem, as has been indicated. There is outrageous violence that's going on in Chicago. And I know, as the head law enforcement officer, those communities are asking for law enforcement, the good people there that are living there, the many good people, to intercede and do something. But these police are not dealing with choir boys. They're dealing with people that are either passively resisting or, more importantly, in the videos that I saw, are not listening to police commands, are charging at the police, and creating a risk of either serious injury to the police officer or the community. And in those situations, the police do not have to fight a fair fight. The rules are very clear with regard to when they can use deadly force. Now, that said, if they do something that's inappropriate, they should be held accountable.
And then videos will catch them. The videos also may exonerate some police officers who have been charged with something that they didn't do. So some videos will say, you know, look, they will show the defendants in some cases acting in a way that would garner use of force by a police officer.
I mean, obviously, some of these can be shocking. Look, there's someone backing up and a police officer, apparently, shooting maybe at a car. At least the gun is out. I mean, you don't know.
But you don't know.
Because the stuff is out of context. But here's what Dean Angelo, the head of the Fraternal Order Police, the police union, says about these. He says, quote, "We've had 13,000 police officers battered in the same 8-year period that they talk about, where we have the 402 shootings. I don't understand the purpose behind it. If an investigator is assigned to this log number of this case, then they go online and they say, my gosh, there's 15,000 hits in this video and I'm assigned to it, and there's comments, this officer should be fired. Is that going to influence me? I don't think it's fair." Their point, Bob, finally, they don't think it's fair.
Yeah, and listen, cops aren't going to think it's fair because they want the typical protocols to be followed. The investigation until there's some finding of wrongdoing. And I have to ask, where's the district attorney's office in any of this? But nevertheless, we have to also balance that with the fact that they have, unfortunately, not responded to these complaints quickly enough, requiring them to have to do this transparency.
Years out there.
And Lisa, to your point, do you think this will help the horrible situation that continues in Chicago?
It may. I mean, it really it's so bad now that they've got to do something, and maybe this transparency will help.
Okay, one final point, Eric. You know, one of the things that I see in the videos that I've watched right now, and I have to say over and over again, people say that they were shooting at unarmed people. When they're using vehicles, or when the police officer has a gun and the gun is drawn and they're attacking the police officer, people have to understand one very important principle. I get it's difficult. Stop fighting your case in the court on the street. Go to the court and fight the case. When you fight cops, when you resist cops, people get hurt.
Good point. Bob, Lise, thank you.
Got it.